Inner light, esoteric wisdom for the soul's ascent, a haven for those who yearn to peer beyond the veil, to seek not only the surface wisdom handed down through generations, but to unlock the veiled truths that have illuminated and confounded the journey of mystics, seekers, and sages since the dawn of consciousness. Here, we come together not simply to admire the outer forms of spiritual tradition, but to delve into the heart of mystery itself, exploring the secret teachings and eternal enigmas that beckon from the shadowy margins of faith, philosophy, and magic. To participate in the quest for inner illumination is to accept that the road ahead will often be uncertain, sometimes perilous, yet ever rewarding. The soul's ascent is not a straight path, but a spiraling journey through darkness and light, through certainty and doubt, through the hidden chambers of the self and the wider cosmos. In this spirit, we invite you to join us on an exploration of one of the most enigmatic and controversial texts in Western esotericism, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius, a book cloaked in centuries of both reverence and dread, whose very existence blurs the boundaries between the sacred and the profane. The lure of forbidden lore. From ancient times, humanity has been drawn to the unknown, compelled by the promise of wisdom and power that lies just out of reach. We have always gazed at the stars, wondered at the whispering winds, trembled at the shadow that flickers just beyond the campfire's light. The earliest shamans and seers, priests and priestesses, risked much to win a glimpse of the divine or the demonic, to channel healing or invoke a curse, to discern truth through signs and omens. The grimoire, the book of magic, of spells and invocations, emerged as both a tool and a symbol of this perennial quest. Countless grimoires have survived the centuries, each with its own peculiar flavor and legacy. Yet few have inspired as much awe, fear, and speculation as the Grimoire of Pope Honorius, a text said to contain not merely the formulas for summoning spirits or bending fate, but the keys to ultimate knowledge and forbidden communion. What is it about such a book that continues to fascinate and frighten in equal measure? Is it a genuine key to unlocking the mysteries of the spirit world? Is it a relic of superstition and fear, or a mirror reflecting the deepest yearnings of the human heart? These questions have persisted through the ages, and they remain as vital and as unsettling today as ever. Origins wreathed in shadow. The story of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius begins, as so many great mysteries do, in a haze of uncertainty. Surviving copies of the book are mainly from the 17th and 18th centuries, written in a time when Europe was in the throes of religious conflict, scientific revolution, and the birth of modern occultism. Yet its purported authorship stretches back to the reign of Honorius III, who ruled as Pope during the early 13th century. Honorius III was a man of learning and reform, a central figure in the politics of Christendom. Yet there is no credible evidence that he ever practiced magic or authored a grimoire. Thus, suspicion naturally arises. Why would such a book be attributed to a pope? The answer may be found in the peculiar logic of esoteric transmission. Authority in the world of grimoires is everything. To attribute a work to a figure as powerful as the Pope is to lend it an aura of legitimacy, gravitas, and perhaps even a sense of divine sanction. In a time when books were rare and most people could neither read nor write, the provenance of a text mattered deeply. The notion of papal authorship was, for many, a guarantee that the knowledge within was both profound and perilous. Yet there are other, more cynical theories regarding the book's origins. Some suggest it was crafted as a practical manual for priests, offering them the tools and rituals necessary to confront the forces of evil, an idea not so far removed from the Church's own tradition of exorcism and spiritual combat. Others claim it was a cunning forgery, designed to scandalize or undermine the Church by associating its highest office with the darkest arts of black magic. In the turbulent climate of the Reformation and Counter-Reformation, when every institution was under scrutiny and the lines between heresy and orthodoxy were fiercely contested, such a text could become a potent weapon in the hands of those seeking to discredit the established order. Whatever its true origins, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius quickly became notorious. The Church denounced it as heretical, and those found in possession of it risked severe punishment, including excommunication and imprisonment. The very act of owning or copying such a text was considered an act of defiance, a challenge to the boundaries of orthodoxy and a flirtation with spiritual peril. Yet, as is so often the case with forbidden knowledge, suppression only served to enhance its allure. Copies were circulated in secret, passed from hand to hand among alchemists, magicians, and seekers after power beyond the reach of ordinary mortals. The book's structure, liturgy and sorcery entwined. The structure of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is itself an oddity, a fusion of Catholic liturgical language and occult instruction. Unlike many earlier grimoires, which drew primarily from pagan or pre-Christian sources, this book is steeped in the language, symbols, and rituals of the Church. Prayers, invocations, and references to God, Christ, and the angels are woven throughout, often adapted or recontextualized for magical purposes. The preparation for ritual is meticulous. Tools must be consecrated, spaces purified, and the practitioner must undergo rites of fasting, confession, and prayer. Central to the book's mechanics is the magic circle, a boundary constructed from blessed salt, holy water, or chalk, and inscribed with the sacred names of God. This circle serves not only as a physical demarcation but as a spiritual fortress, a shield against the forces that the magician seeks to summon or command. Candles are placed at the cardinal points, incense is burned, and the practitioner dons a consecrated robe. Every detail is attended to, for the stakes are nothing less than the safety of one's soul. The rituals for summoning are as elaborate as they are perilous. The magician is instructed to draw the sigils of specific demons, Lucifer, Beelzebub, Astaroth, and others, on parchment or metal, and to recite invocations in Latin, demanding their appearance within the protective circle. Authority is paramount. The practitioner must command with confidence, invoking both the power of God and the supposed papal mandate. The words by the keys of St. Peter, "I command thee," echo through the ritual, a reminder that the boundaries between faith and magic are not so easily drawn. Yet, the negotiations that follow are fraught with danger. Demons are said to be cunning, always seeking to subvert the will of the summoner and escape the constraints imposed upon them. The magician offers gifts, black candles, rare incense, or symbolic sacrifices, in exchange for favors, secret knowledge, wealth, influence, or the fulfillment of personal desires. The wording of the pact is critical, for these entities are notorious for twisting agreements to their own advantage. The grimoire is explicit in its warnings. Any sign of weakness or error can result in spiritual harm, possession, or the unleashing of chaos. If the book's instructions for summoning are infamous, its sections on protection are no less important. The grimoire acknowledges the dangers inherent in its rituals and offers a variety of means to shield the practitioner from harm. The construction of the magic circle is treated as a sacred act, reinforced with prayer, holy water, and consecrated objects. Amulets and talismans are described in detail, crafted from precious metals or parchment and inscribed with magical seals and the names of God. These objects are tailored to specific threats. Some ward off demons, others protect against curses, illness, or misfortune. The prayers and exorcisms contained within the grimoire are often adaptations of biblical passages, particularly the Psalms. Psalm 91, for example, is invoked for protection, sometimes altered to enhance its efficacy within a magical context. The invocation of saints, angels, and the Virgin Mary is common, blending Orthodox devotion with the techniques of the occult. The closing of the ritual is perhaps the most crucial act. The magician must cleanse the space with incense and holy water, recite prayers of dismissal, and formally break any connections with summoned entities. Neglecting this step, the text warns, can leave one vulnerable to lingering malevolent influences. Beyond demons and angels, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius delves into necromancy, the art of communicating with the dead. This section is perhaps the most chilling, for it promises access to secret knowledge, the uncovering of hidden truths, and the possibility of influencing future events. The spirits of the dead, it is believed, possess wisdom and power beyond the reach of the living, and can be compelled to answer questions or perform tasks. The process is fraught with peril. The practitioner must identify the spirit by name, gather details about their life and death, and select a symbolic location, often a graveyard, crossroads, or the site of the person's demise. Offerings are left to appease the spirit, and the summoning ritual is conducted with a mix of Christian liturgy, magical invocations, and necromantic symbols. Communication with the dead is typically cryptic, requiring skill and discernment to interpret. The spirits may speak in riddles, offer glimpses of future events, or reveal secrets long buried. Yet, the dangers are ever present. The text warns of the risks of attracting unwanted spirits, opening portals to the unknown, or incurring the wrath of the dead. Breaking a pact or failing to dismiss the spirit can result in curses, madness, or even death. Forbidden knowledge and the shadow of the Church. The existence of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius raises profound questions about the nature of power, belief, and the supernatural. The Church's response was one of condemnation and suppression, yet the book's allure proved irresistible to those drawn to the occult. The legend of the Grimoire grew, fueled by rumors of its power and the dire fates of those who dared to use it. Over time, the book became a staple of occult literature, referenced in countless works of fiction, art, and cinema. Its reputation as the Pope's Book of Black Magic ensured its place in the pantheon of forbidden tomes. What is it about such texts that exerts such a powerful hold on the imagination? The answer lies in the deep human fascination with the forbidden, the unknown, and the possibility of transcending ordinary limits. At its core, the grimoire promises access to power beyond the reach of ordinary mortals, the ability to command spirits, alter fate, and bend reality to one's will. For those frustrated by the constraints of society, religion, or circumstance, such promises are irresistible. But with power comes danger. The rituals described in the Grimoire of Pope Honorius are fraught with risk, both spiritual and psychological. The threat of damnation, madness, or destruction is ever present. A reminder that some doors should not be opened, and some secrets are best left undiscovered. The pursuit of forbidden knowledge has a cost, and the grimoire is explicit about the dangers, not only physical or spiritual harm, but the risk of losing one's soul. The practitioner is constantly reminded that some secrets are best left undiscovered. Yet, the grimoire also speaks to a deeper longing, the search for meaning in a world filled with suffering, uncertainty, and death. By reaching beyond the boundaries of the known, the practitioner seeks not only power but understanding, a glimpse into the mysteries of creation, the afterlife, and the divine. The rituals are not mere exercises in control. They are acts of faith, attempts to penetrate the veil that separates the living from the dead, the mundane from the miraculous. The grimoire's legacy, influence, and transformation. The legacy of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is as complex and layered as the rituals it describes. It did not arise in isolation, nor did it fade into obscurity after the initial wave of controversy. Rather, it became a living current in the underground rivers of Western esotericism, drawn upon by generations of magicians, scholars, and those who walked the uncertain borderlands between faith and heresy. Elements of the grimoire echo through earlier magical texts such as the Key of Solomon and the Book of Abramelin, as well as later Renaissance grimoires. The use of sigils, circles, divine names, and ritual purity are recurring motifs in the magical tradition. Yet, the Honorius grimoire stands apart for the audacity of its synthesis, integrating the liturgical forms of the Church with the practical mechanics of ceremonial magic. At a time when the sacred and the profane were supposed to be rigidly separated, the book dared to suggest that the tools of salvation and those of conjuration were not so different after all. As the centuries turned and the Enlightenment dawned, the grimoire's reputation only grew. The Age of Reason brought with it a new fascination with the occult, as both a curiosity and a challenge to the prevailing rational order. In the 19th and 20th centuries, the rise of occult societies such as the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn and the Ordo Templi Orientis brought renewed interest in grimoires. Figures such as Eliphas Levi, Aleister Crowley, and Arthur Edward Waite studied, translated, and adapted the Honorius text, seeking to reconcile its teachings with their own evolving systems of esoteric philosophy. In their hands, the grimoire became not just a manual of power, but a key to understanding the hidden architecture of reality, a bridge between the medieval world of spirits and the modern world of psychology. Yet, the grimoire's influence was not confined to the circles of the learned and the initiated. It seeped into popular culture, appearing in novels, films, and even comic books as the archetypal forbidden tome, a source of ultimate power and ultimate peril. Its reputation as the Pope's Book of Black Magic made it both a curse and a badge of honor, a symbol of the seductive danger of forbidden knowledge. The very phrase, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius, evokes images of candlelit chambers, whispered invocations, and the ever-present threat of damnation. The dance of faith and doubt. To truly understand the hold this book has on the imagination, one must look beyond its rituals and incantations to the deeper drama it enacts. The eternal dance between faith and doubt, between the yearning for transcendence and the fear of falling. The grimoire is, above all, a meditation on the limits of human power. On one hand, it offers the practitioner the possibility of command, the ability to summon spirits, bend destiny, and glimpse the workings of fate. On the other, it is filled with reminders of the dangers of pride, of hubris, of reaching beyond one's station. The magician is both exalted and humbled, a figure standing on the knife edge between salvation and destruction. This tension is the very essence of the esoteric path. Every mystic, every seeker, every sage who has peered into the heart of mystery has encountered it. The knowledge that illumination is perilous, that every ascent risks a fall, that the light casts its own shadow. The Grimoire of Pope Honorius does not shy away from this truth. It is a book for those who are willing to risk much in the quest for wisdom, who understand that power is never given freely, and that every secret comes with a price. Psychological resonances, the inner ascent. But the grimoire is not only a historical artifact or a manual of ritual. It is also a psychological document, a map of the soul's journey through its own underworld. The process of preparing for ritual, of cleansing, fasting, and confession, mirrors the inner work required for any genuine transformation. The construction of the magic circle is both an act of physical protection and a symbol of the boundaries we must draw within ourselves, separating the higher from the lower, the sacred from the profane. The act of summoning, too, can be read as an allegory for the confrontation with one's own inner demons, the fears, desires, and unresolved energies that haunt the psyche. To enter the circle, to call upon the spirits, to negotiate and command, is to engage in a dialogue with the deepest parts of oneself. The risks described in the text, the danger of possession, the risk of being deceived or overwhelmed, are not only external but internal. The magician is warned to remain vigilant, to close the ritual properly, to cleanse and return to ordinary reality. The failure to do so can result in psychic fragmentation, in obsession, in madness. In this sense, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius becomes not simply a book of magic, but a guide to the perilous process of individuation, the emergence of the self from the chaos of the unconscious. It is a testament to the power of ritual, not just to shape the world, but to order the soul. The shadow of the Church. No discussion of the grimoire would be complete without considering its relationship to the Church and the broader currents of religious history. The Church's response to the book was swift and harsh. Condemnation, suppression, and the threat of excommunication for those who possessed or copied it. To the ecclesiastical authorities, the Honorius grimoire was an abomination, a blasphemy, a challenge to the rightful order of spiritual authority. Yet, as often happens, the attempt to suppress only served to increase the book's allure. The forbidden is always tempting, and the very fact that the grimoire was prescribed made it an object of fascination for those dissatisfied with the limits of orthodox belief. Copyists, magicians, and seekers preserved the text in hidden libraries and private collections, ensuring its survival even as official church doctrine sought to erase it from memory. At the same time, the very structure of the grimoire demonstrates the profound ambiguity at the heart of the Western religious imagination. The rituals borrow freely from the language and symbols of Catholicism, adapting them for magical purposes. The lines between exorcist and magician, priest and sorcerer, become blurred. The practitioner is urged to invoke the names of God, Christ, and the saints, even as he commands the spirits of the underworld. This ambiguity is not a weakness but a strength, a recognition that the sacred and the profane are not always easily separated. The same prayer that can heal can also bind. The same name that can bless can also command. The grimoire stands as a witness to the complexity of the spiritual life, to the ways in which faith and magic, order and chaos are forever entwined. The grimoire in modern context. In the modern world, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius occupies a curious place. For some, it is little more than a relic of superstition, a curiosity for collectors of occult ephemera. For others, it remains a living tradition, a source of inspiration, a manual of practice, a testament to the enduring power of the esoteric quest. Its influence can be seen in the work of modern magicians, who continue to adapt its rituals for contemporary use. Its language and symbols appear in the literature of the occult revival, in the practices of ceremonial magic, and in the increasingly popular field of chaos magic. The book's warnings about the dangers of pride, the necessity of protection, and the importance of closing rituals are echoed in the teachings of modern psychological and spiritual disciplines. But perhaps its greatest legacy is in the questions it continues to pose, the challenge it offers to those who would seek the hidden wisdom of the ages. What is the price of forbidden knowledge? Where is the line between faith and magic, between salvation and damnation? Can one truly command the spirits, or is the real work the transformation of the self? Encounters with the grimoire, testimonies from the margins. Throughout the centuries, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius has attracted a curious array of seekers, magicians, scholars, priests, and adventurers, each drawn by the promise of hidden wisdom or the thrill of forbidden power. Many left behind stories, letters, or diary fragments, some cryptic and others candid, recounting their encounters with the book and the rituals it contains. One 17th century French priest, who found a copy hidden within the walls of his parish church, wrote with trembling hand of his dilemma. Torn between his faith and his fascination, he described the sleepless nights spent poring over its Latin invocations and diagrams. Ultimately, he attempted a simple ritual for protection, using only salt, a psalm, and the sign of the cross. He claimed that his dreams thereafter were visited by both angels and shadows, and the sense of spiritual peril lingered long after he had burned the book in the parish oven. His account, though brief, is emblematic of the tension that the grimoire engenders, the pull between the yearning for the miraculous and the fear of spiritual retribution. In the 19th century, with the occult revival in full bloom, secret societies and salons buzzed with stories of the Honorius rituals. Some magicians reported great success in summoning spirits or gaining insights, while others spoke of misfortune, obsession, or the sense that they had invited something they could not control. One English scholar, influenced by the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, described the act of constructing the magic circle as a ceremony of profound psychic resonance, noting that the psychological effects, feelings of awe, dread, and heightened awareness, were as significant as any outward manifestation. A more modern account comes from a collector of rare books who, in the late 20th century, acquired an illuminated manuscript version of the grimoire from a dusty Parisian shop. He wrote of his attempts to decipher the sigils and recreate the ritual tools as described. Though he claimed no supernatural phenomena, he did reflect on the transformative effect the book had on his own sense of boundaries and intention. For him, the grimoire was less about literal power and more about the psychological journey, the challenge of meeting one's own unconscious fears and desires head-on. The grimoire in the tradition of magical literature. In considering the place of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius within the wider tradition of magical texts, it is important to recognize its uniqueness. Earlier grimoires, such as the Key of Solomon, were often presented as repositories of ancient wisdom, drawing on Jewish, Arabic, and pre-Christian sources. Their rituals were elaborate, their cosmology intricate, and their moral warnings clear. Power must be sought with humility, and the price of arrogance was high. The Honorius Grimoire, by contrast, is most remarkable for its explicit blending of Christian liturgy with magical practice. Its prayers and invocations are not mere borrowings. They are central to the book's structure. This fusion was both innovative and controversial, for it challenged the prevailing notion that the sacred and the magical were fundamentally at odds. As magical literature evolved, later grimoires such as the Lesser Key of Solomon and the Book of Abramelin would further refine the arts of spirit summoning and ritual protection. The Honorius text, however, retained its reputation as the most dangerous and the most explicitly heretical, a book not merely for the learned, but for those willing to walk the razor's edge between salvation and damnation. In the 20th century, with the rise of comparative studies in religion and esotericism, the grimoire was re-examined as a cultural artifact. Scholars debated its origins, its textual history, and its influence on later magical systems. Some saw it as a reflection of the anxieties and aspirations of its time, others as a key to understanding the perennial tension between individual spiritual freedom and institutional authority. The grimoire as mirror, the soul's shadow and light. Perhaps the most profound way to approach the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is as a mirror, an artifact that reflects not only the spiritual currents of its age, but the timeless journey of the soul. The rituals, with their emphasis on preparation, boundary, invocation, and dismissal, are not simply techniques for manipulating unseen forces. They are metaphors for the processes of self-discovery, integration, and transformation. To stand within the magic circle, robed and ready, is to declare a boundary, a space of intention within which the seeker confronts the unknown. The invocation of divine names, the lighting of candles, the burning of incense. Each act is both outward ceremony and inward gesture, an affirmation of the soul's longing for order amidst chaos. The summoning of spirits, whether angelic, demonic, or ancestral, can be read as the confrontation with the hidden aspects of oneself, the shadows and powers that dwell beneath the everyday surface. The negotiation with these forces, the crafting of pacts, and the careful wording of requests speaks to the delicate balance required in any true spiritual ascent. What do we seek? What are we willing to offer? Where does the line fall between ambition and humility, between mastery and surrender? The warnings embedded within the grimoire, of dangers both seen and unseen, of the necessity for protection, of the importance of closing rituals, are not merely practical advice. They are reminders of the cost of true transformation, and of the wisdom required to navigate the soul's journey without succumbing to obsession, despair, or fragmentation. The modern seeker and the living tradition. For the modern seeker, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius offers both challenge and inspiration. In an age saturated with information yet hungry for meaning, the book stands as a testament to the enduring power of mystery, to the necessity of risk, and to the importance of discernment. Some who encounter the grimoire today approach it as a historical curiosity, an artifact to be studied, catalogued, and admired for its craftsmanship. Others attempt to reconstruct its rituals, adapting them for contemporary practice or exploring their psychological resonance. Still others see in its pages a cautionary tale, a warning against the unreflective pursuit of power or the dangers of spiritual pride. Yet, for all these perspectives, the book's greatest gift may be its invitation to reflect. To read the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is to ask, what are my own boundaries? What powers do I seek, and why? What are the dangers I face, and what protections do I need? What is the meaning of my own ascent, and where does the path lead? In this sense, the grimoire is not simply a relic of the past, but a living teacher, a companion for the soul's journey through the labyrinth of shadow and light. The philosophical heart, power, paradox, and the price of wisdom. As we move beyond the outer forms and stories, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius reveals itself as a profound meditation on the paradoxes of spiritual power. Its pages, dense with ritual and warning, invite us to reflect on questions that have haunted the human mind for millennia. What is the nature of true authority? Where do the boundaries lie between aspiration and arrogance? What is the proper relationship between human beings and the unseen realms that surround us? The grimoire repeatedly insists that no power may be wielded safely without humility and preparation. Every invocation, Every circle drawn, every word uttered in Latin or Hebrew is an act of both courage and restraint. The magician is not a god, but a supplicant, a petitioner who stands at the threshold of mystery and is granted only as much as he can bear. It is this tension, between the desire to command and the necessity of surrender, that lies at the center of all esoteric practice. The text's many admonitions against pride and carelessness are not merely relics of medieval superstition, but timeless reminders that the pursuit of knowledge, especially forbidden knowledge, is fraught with peril. The soul's ascent towards light inevitably passes through shadow, and one must learn to distinguish between the voices of wisdom and those of temptation. Through its complex rituals and the careful choreography of its ceremonies, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius teaches that the journey towards enlightenment is not a conquest but a negotiation. The practitioner asks, listens, bargains, and sometimes retreats. The most important lesson is not how to control the spirits or forces encountered, but how to control oneself, how to maintain integrity, clarity, and balance in the face of awe and terror. The grimoire in art and culture, echoes and reflections. The influence of the Honorius grimoire has extended far beyond the private chambers of magicians and the hidden shelves of scholars. Its reputation as the epitome of forbidden lore has made it a recurring motif in the arts, an object of fascination for writers, painters, filmmakers, and musicians alike. In literature, the grimoire appears in the hands of desperate alchemists and power-hungry priests, often as the catalyst for tragedy or revelation. Gothic novels and modern fantasy alike have drawn upon its legend, weaving tales in which the boundary between salvation and damnation is perilously thin. The image of the midnight summoner, surrounded by ancient tomes and flickering candles, owes much to the legacy of Honorius. In the visual arts, the grimoire's sigils and ritual diagrams have inspired generations of artists. Etchings and paintings from the Romantic era to the present day depict scenes of invocation, exorcism, and spiritual struggle, sometimes with horror, sometimes with reverence, always with a sense of awe at the power of the unknown. Cinema and theater have likewise found in the grimoire a potent symbol. Films exploring themes of possession, occult investigation, or the hubris of forbidden knowledge frequently allude to the Honorius rituals, using them as shorthand for the dangers of overreaching or the seductive pull of the shadow. Even in contemporary music, the echoes of the grimoire can be heard. From symphonic works evoking the drama of spiritual confrontation to dark ambient soundscapes inspired by ritual, the resonance of Honorius ripples through the creative imagination of our age. The future of forbidden wisdom, the soul's ascent in a modern world. As we stand at the threshold of a new era, an age of technological marvels, information abundance, and global connection, the figure of the Grimoire of Pope Honorius takes on fresh relevance. In a world where so much is accessible, where knowledge is a click away but wisdom seems ever more elusive, what does it mean to seek out the forbidden, the hidden, the dangerous? The Grimoire's warnings against pride and haste, against seeking power without understanding, are as urgent now as they were centuries ago. The metaphorical circles we draw of intention, of ethics, of self-awareness, are needed more than ever as we navigate the unprecedented possibilities and perils of our time. Yet, there is also a promise in the Honorius tradition, the possibility of transformation. The soul's ascent is not about the accumulation of secrets or the conquest of the unknown, but about the deepening of one's relationship with mystery, with the divine, with the cosmos, with the hidden chambers of the self. The true power that the grimoire hints at is not domination, but integration, not the mastery of spirits, but the mastery of one's own spirit. In seeking the wisdom of the ages, we are called to humility and discernment, to courage and compassion. The darkness we explore is not simply to be banished, but to be understood, embraced, and transmuted. The ascent is not a flight from shadow, but a journey through it, towards a greater, more luminous wholeness. A living invitation, the grimoire and the inner light. As our exploration draws towards its close, let us remember that the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is more than a relic, more than a legend, more than a manual of rites. It is an invitation, a challenge to every seeker who longs for truth, for meaning, for the light that endures through every age. Whether you approach it as a source of historical fascination, as a tool for ritual practice, or as a mirror for your own inner journey, the Grimoire offers a space for reflection, for questioning, for transformation. Its secrets are never fully exhausted, its warnings never outgrown. In the end, the greatest magic may be this: to find, within ourselves, the courage to seek, the wisdom to discern, and the compassion to guide others on the path. For the soul's ascent is not a solitary journey, but a pilgrimage shared by all who yearn for the hidden light. As the candle burns low and the shadows lengthen, may the mysteries of the Honorius tradition inspire you, not to fear the unknown, but to embrace it with open eyes and an open heart. The quest for esoteric wisdom is the quest for the self, and in that quest, every seeker is both student and sage, both novice and master. Final reflections: the enduring shadow, the everlasting light. To contemplate the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is to stand at the crossroads of history, myth, and spiritual longing. Its pages have traveled through the centuries, sparking fear and fascination, shaping the dreams of the bold and the nightmares of the cautious. It has been burned by the righteous, cherished by the curious, and studied by those who sense that truth often hides where the world is least willing to look. The Grimoire's survival is itself a testament to the power of the forbidden. It has endured inquisitions, wars, censorship, and the passing of countless generations. Why? Because it speaks to something intrinsic in the human soul. The hunger for meaning, for mastery, for communion with the mysteries that lie just beyond the reach of ordinary sight. The same longing that drew the first magicians to draw circles in the dust, to utter words of power in the night, pulses in us still, undiminished by time. And yet, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius also stands as a warning. Its rituals are not games, its invocations not mere poetry. Every page is edged with caution, every instruction shadowed by the awareness that the quest for knowledge, if undertaken without reverence and self-understanding, can lead to ruin as easily as it can to revelation. The practitioner is urged, again and again, to prepare, to protect, to complete the circle and close the path behind. The lesson is clear: the ascent is not for the reckless, but for those willing to be both brave and wise. In our modern world, where ancient fears and wonders are often dismissed as relics, the Grimoire remains a living symbol. It is a reminder that not all knowledge is safe, not all power is granted freely, and not all mysteries are meant to be solved by force of will alone. The light that the soul seeks is not found by fleeing the darkness, but by entering it with eyes open, by confronting the shadow, integrating its lessons, and emerging transformed. The Grimoire and the modern seeker, a mirror for our age. For the contemporary seeker, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius offers more than a cult spectacle. It offers a mirror, a way to examine our own desires, fears, and ambitions. In an age of instant information and restless distraction, it demands patience, focus, and humility. It asks, what are you truly seeking? Are you prepared for the cost of what you desire? Can you draw your own circle of intention and protection, not just in ritual, but in life? The book's continued relevance lies in its honesty about the price of wisdom. Power comes with responsibility, knowledge with ethical demand. The Grimoire's greatest magic is perhaps in teaching the soul not only how to ascend, but how to descend, how to face one's own depths, to acknowledge the shadow without being consumed by it, and to return, chastened and enlightened, to the world of day. In this sense, the Grimoire of Pope Honorius is not merely a book of magic, but a guide for the soul's journey. Its teachings are veiled, its language arcane, but its challenge is timeless. Dare you seek the hidden light? Will you risk the perilous ascent? And, having found what you seek, will you help others on their way? The living tradition, beyond the Grimoire. Our journey with the Grimoire does not conclude with the closing of its pages. Rather, it continues in the choices we make, the questions we ask, and the courage with which we walk our own path. The rituals of Honorius are echoes of older mysteries and foreshadowings of those yet to come. Every seeker, every mystic, every curious soul who looks beyond the veil adds to the living tradition. A chain of wisdom, humility, and aspiration linking the present to the ageless past. If you find yourself drawn to these mysteries, know that you are not alone. Throughout history, the seekers of light have always found one another, in hidden rooms, in sacred groves, in the pages of forbidden books, and now, in communities like Inner Light, esoteric wisdom for the soul's ascent. Here we honor not only the knowledge, but the journey and the spirit that dares to ask what lies beyond the horizon of the known. An invitation to the ascent. As the candle gutters and the last lines of this exploration fade, let us linger for a moment in the silence, in the space where questions outnumber answers and the unknown beckons. The Grimoire of Pope Honorius is but one doorway among many. The path of the mystic, the magician, the philosopher, and the seeker is unending, and each step, whether in light or shadow, is part of the ascent. If this journey into the shadows has illuminated something within you, if the call of hidden wisdom stirs your soul, we invite you to continue walking with us. Here at Inner Light, we explore the mysteries not to conquer them, but to understand, to grow, and to bring a little more light to the world. So, if you have found insight, inspiration, or even new questions in this exploration, we warmly invite you to subscribe, like, and share. Your presence is part of the light that guides this community ever upward. Together, let us continue to unveil the teachings that have inspired the ascent of souls across the ages. And may your own journey be blessed with courage, wisdom, and wonder. Until next time, may your path be ever illuminated and your soul ever ascending.